In order to add a class, we're going to go to the class workspace. The first icon is the one that's highlighted. It says add classes. You can do so manually or by doing an upload of a CSV file. I'll show you both. Manually, what you want to do is you want to go in and type in your class name. So I'm going to say I teach first period, and then I'm going to say that's algebra. I can add it and continue to add even more classes. So what about second period? Let's say that's geometry. Add. Third period, let's say that's algebra again. And I'm kind of trying to like get it together so it's consistent, and make sure everything is copacetic. There we go. All right, so next, my classes have been created. Now I want to add students to them. Doing this manually is pretty straightforward, but it's also time consuming because you have to individually add each of your students. Let's say Sue Rogers. Username Sue. Be careful with the username because they cannot duplicate across any of your sections. So if you have a Sue in first period and one in seventh period, you might want to delineate their names in some way. So Sue R, Sue M. However you want to do that, just be cautious and know that usernames cannot repeat across any of your sections. Now, display name is going to automatically become the username if you don't say it otherwise. Password, I always leave it on student choose because I let the students choose their password and then that's something that they can personally remember. If you don't want to do that, you're more than welcome to toggle this on and choose your students' passwords. Student ID is also up to you. It's optional. Now, assign classes. I can assign Sue first period, second period, or third period. I'm gonna go ahead and put Sue in my first period class and say okay. Now I'm gonna finish. I could add more students if I wanted to, but manually I just don't like to do it. So I'm gonna click finish. All right. That is how you manually add a student. And you might be wondering, where the heck is Sue? Up here, we are in our first, I'm sorry, we're in third period and we need to go to first period. So when we go to first period, boom, now we have Sue. Sue will highlight and become colored once Sue is actually logged into the class. So right now the class hasn't begun and Sue is not logged in. So that is why Sue is more so on the grayscale. All right, so now let's add classes using a CSV. In order to do this, we actually have to have a CSV already created where we have the class name, the section name, which is optional. Student first and last name and username are all mandatory. And then the student ID and password are again optional. So let's create a spreadsheet using our preferred spreadsheet creator or software. I'm using Google Sheets. You can use Excel. You can use Microsoft, Microsoft and Excel are the same. But you can use whatever spreadsheet software that you like. For me, I have the four required headers: class, first period, last period. I'm sorry, first name, last name, and username. So then I put in the period that the student is in here. I just messed up that a little bit. So you want to go in and just type in the different periods. So I'm going to say third period. And let's say third period is algebra. And then I even want to do a fourth period, even though I hadn't put that in my software just yet. Let's see what happens. For third period, I'm going to say geometry again. And I'm going to get some student names in here. I'm going to say Jose Martinez and Jose as his username. Here, I'm going to put Kate. And then for Kate's last name, I'm going to put Ways and then Kate. All right. And that looks all good to me. I'm going to go ahead and title this as my TI classes. And then I might want to put the date so that I know when I did this. So I'm going to say 4/16/2025. I'm going to go ahead and download this as a CSV file. That is important. If it's not a CSV file, then it won't be rated. So make sure it's a CSV file. We got that downloaded. Now I'm going to go back into my software and I'm going to browse for it. It is in my downloads. So let me go look. And indeed, it is here. But what is it called? I think I called it TI. Lord, why am I having such a hard time? TI classes. There we have it. Next. For the class name, I set that as my class. First name was first, last name was last, and username was username. everything is a success and it is done. Now, if there was an error, it would have a view details button here and you can find out exactly what your error was. It opens in a text file. Sue, Louise, Ariel, and Penny have been assigned to my first period. My second period has Dominique. My third period has Jose. And my fourth period does have Kate. So yeah, that's pretty cool. In short, adding classes is really simple. You can do it in one of two ways, manually or using a spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is better when you have to do a whole bunch. You could have one single spreadsheet with everybody in your class, but just know that the usernames cannot be have any duplicates. If you have any questions or need any help, I'm Dr. Ariel J. Taylor across all platforms. See you soon.